Hello chess Neurites. In today's video, we'll see a game between Garry Kasparov and Vladimir Kramnik, where Kasparov sacrifices queen for long-term positional compensation. It wasn't a flashy finish, but a deep strategic decision that reflected his understanding of the imbalances. So let's take a closer look at how the queen sacrifice unfolded and why it worked so well. So Kasparov had black pieces and Kramnik was white. The game was played in 1994 and it was a blitz game. So the opening is King's Indian and Kasparov in this position played the move Knight c5. So he's improving the knight's position, putting pressure on this pawn as well. So then Kramnik actually replied with the move b3. This seems a bit of a strange move. That what is the idea behind b3? So of course, as I mentioned, that there is some pressure on this pawn, but it's not like Kasparov is planning to capture that right now because it is well defended and also this is pinned. But there was another idea of knight c5, that is to play a4 and create some activity on the queen side. So by playing b3, Kramnik actually deals with that idea. How does he do it? So in case a4 is played, then now he can reply with b4 and this knight will be restricted. Let's say if it goes here, then just this. Now this pawn gets a bit weaker. This knight is not that active and the c5 square has been taken away. So how is b3 connected to that? Because if Kasparov was able to play a4, then after b4, if the pawn had gone to b4, if it was on b2, then there would be after b4 the en passant possibility for Kasparov. Kramnik did not want that. Kramnik like, okay, I'll be b3. So if after a4, b4, there would be no en passant. But here, Kasparov played a move that shocked Kramnik. Now, if you want, you can pause the video here and try to find what Kasparov played. So he went for the completely unexpected knight f takes e4. This pawn was defended by these two knights, and more importantly, this knight was pinned. Wait, what is going on? Was it a mouse slip by Kasparov? No, in 1994, this was played. This blitz game was played over the board, not online. And also, there was no touch to move incident that Kasparov touched this knight. No, this was a deliberate move by Kasparov. Now, if Kramnik captures this knight by either of the knight, that won't work because Kasparov can just capture the bishop and he will be up a pawn. But what about the queen? Who cares about the knight? So he had planned it further. Bishop takes d8 was played in this position and Kasparov played the move knight takes c3. So far, for the queen that he has given, he has gotten a pawn and he has gotten a knight of white. Now, this bishop is under pressure, this queen is under pressure, and also the queen cannot go to c2 or something because then there would be knight e2 check, king h1, even this bishop would go, and there would be three minor pieces and a pawn for the queen for Kasparov. So Kramnik's only move was queen e1, just making the queen passive. Now, Kasparov actually captured the bishop with this rook because he felt that he would be able to create more activity on the queen side, so this rook on a8 would be a better choice. Now, in this position, Kramnik did not play that great of a move. He played rook c1, so and he lost the a2 pawn. Now, I'm not sure if he just missed that or he had some other idea, but I'll just try to explain because I find it hard to believe that even, I mean, he's Kramnik, so even in a blitz game he would not just blunder upon that easily. So I think his idea behind that move would be that if the pawn is not on a2, then the activity that black is trying to generate on the queen side might be slowed down because there would be this semi-open file, so he might have deliberately given up that pawn. Anyways, Kasparov captured it and he brings the knight to b4. So there is knight c2 idea as well. Then Kramnik plays bishop d1, stopping that. Now, Kasparov plays the move e4, improving the bishop's position with a tempo, unblocking that bishop. Then rook b1 was played. Now he plays rook e8. That rook was on d8 to capture the bishop. Now that is done. So that rook is not doing much there. So now he brings it to e8. It will be useful on the e file. Now let's try to understand this a bit further. Kasparov has got two minor pieces and two pawns for the queen. But he is the one who is preferable in the position. What is the reason? One reason is the piece activity, because it's clear that if we look at white's pieces and then if we look at black's pieces, then definitely black's pieces are better. But one really important thing that you should note is lack of open files and open diagonals. So queen is a long range piece. So cuts through the diagonals. It goes through the files and then creates problems. But the thing is that if there are no open files, if there are no open diagonals, then the queen won't be that effective. And that's the major takeaway from this position. So next time, if you're sacrificing material for and you're giving up your rook or the queen, and you're not sure whether you should give it or not, then ask yourself, after that sacrifice, will there be more open files or more open diagonals for your opponent? If there is, then maybe don't let them keep that queen. Maybe don't go for the sacrifice, because that queen that they have or the rook that they have through the open file, if the rook and if the queen is there, then the open file and open diagonal, that might create issues for you. But that's not the problem with Kasparov in this position. Then queen e3 was played by Kramnik. Kasparov played f5. He's like, all right, I'm going to improve my position slowly but steadily. Then one of his plans in this position was to play g5 and then f4. So Kramnik played h4. He's like, all right, I'll stop your g5 idea. Kasparov is not worried. He's like, I want to play f4. I'll play rook f8 and then try to do it. I want to put pressure on the king side. Then Kramnik in this position played the move g3. Now Kasparov recognized that he has more potential to do something on the king side. So he shifts the a8 rook on the king side on the e file. Then Kramnik plays the move king g2. So he's like, all right, I'm just waiting, then we'll see what happens. So Kasparov also improves the piece position, knight d3, and now he's ready to play f4. So Kramnik plays the move rook g1. Now Kasparov is ready with the move f4. So it's time to bring the rook to f4. This is under pressure. This is under pressure. Then in this, h5 was played by Kramnik. He's like, if g takes h5, maybe he can try to do something to this file. But Kasparov is not interested in that. He's like, I'll play g5. I don't want you to open that g file. Then rook f1 was played. Now Kasparov played rook h4, rook h1, rook f4, rook f1. Wait, is he repeating the position? Is he looking for the draw? No, he's not. Basically, this is done for two reasons. One reason, the chess reason, is that to gain some time. Actually, it's blitz game, so some increment would be there. So you would have just repeated to gain some time. Another thing is psychological. That is, you're just repeating the position twice, and then you're giving that little hope to your opponent that, all right, maybe I might go for the draw. And then what you do is, you don't do that, and then that hope is taken away from your opponent. Your opponent will be like, oh wait, will it be a draw? And then suddenly you don't repeat the third time, and then that can have a psychological impact as well. So Kasparov just improved the rook's position. He's like, all right, I'll get it on the f file. Then f3 was played. Now he plays rook h4. So now it will be like, wait, can Kramnik not play rook h1 again? No. So the problem here is the pawn is not on f2, it is on f3. So then there will be e takes f3. And say, for example, if bishop takes f3 is played, then there is bishop d4. And then that king is under tremendous pressure. If, say, for example, something like this is played, then this check. If king g3 is played, then there are this bishop h3 type of ideas. This knight will get here. Nothing much can be done. Knight d3, bishop f2. This is just too much activity that Kasparov has. So in this position, after rook h4, Kramnik decides to play f takes e4. He's like, all right, I'll just take the pawn. Kasparov is not worried. He's like, I'm going to increase the pressure. I'm going to bring more pieces on the king side. So knight f4 check was played. King g1. Knight cd3. One more piece. Joins the attack. Then in this position, so Kramnik plays the move e5. So he's like, I might open this diagonal and do something. But just knight takes e5. Nothing much is happening. And rook c1. Rook h3 improving the rook's position with a tempo. Knight f3. Just g4. Now more material will be lost. This is just bad. Then knight takes e5 was played. Rook takes e3. Knight takes d7. Now Kasparov is also gained the material, and look at the attack that he has on the king side. Now he played knight h3 check. King g2. The exchange happened. Then g3. And then in this position, knight f4 g2 is a threat. In this, king g2 was played. Knight f4, and then Kramnik resigned. Just a completely lost position. This can be played, and then there is this bishop d4. A great queen sacrifice by Kasparov, and especially a really nice play on how to increase the pressure on the king side after the queen sacrifice and beating Kramnik in such a high quality blitz game. Thanks everyone for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.